They charge you a landscaping fee or a tree planting fee or whatever else. Just charge me a fencing fee.
Hey guys, it's Steve Zalunardo and Hussein Kabani with East Meets West podcast. We're here talking about real estate today and actually events going on in real estate, our week in real estate, and also a little touch on what's happening with mindset and everything, right? So,
cool. Here we go.
Awesome.
So how's your week?
Good, buddy. Yeah, it's been good. Been really busy. A ton of listings coming up, a ton of sales. It's definitely spring market, let's call it. So everything's in process right now, which is good. It's like, so you kind of see after 8 years in business, 8 fiscal years in business, it's like the calls are just keep coming in. Just list me calls as they call them, which is fantastic. And the farm area, I've been working in New Kleinburg, so I'm getting some traction out of there, getting some appointments, which is nice, and completing some sales. It's just right now it's one battle to get the house sold. It's another battle to deal with the realtors on the other side of that. And I think it's got a lot to do with ego and just processing. Like things are just. Negotiations and stuff like that, it's going to be a give and take relationship where both parties feel like they're winning. When there's one party just aggressively, going at your throat, like you're going to become defensive, and it's gonna either jeopardize the deal itself or it's going to be bad feelings right to the end, right? So I'm just dealing with that right now. My big listing.
But see, even with that stuff, like I've mentioned it before too, is like not just trying to build a relationship with the client, but the agents as well. Like you're going to run into these people again.
1,000%.
So if you have like a very negative experience dealing with this person, like what are you going to say? Like I remember there was one deal I did here in Pickering, and the guy just like bailed out on like financing at the very last minute and whatever, and I've been asking for updates, nothing. He called me about one of the listings I had now. He's like, oh, and then I was like, oh, I remember you. And it's like, I don't want to work with you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because like, if I have other people to deal with, I don't want to work with you.
1,000%. And that's what I'm going through right now. Is dealing with these realtors. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. It's such an easy deal. Like imagine it took 7 days to negotiate the deal. We refused 4 offers. Like I literally just didn't answer phone. Like I treated them pretty badly at the end. I had to. Because it's almost like now we're in a defensive mode where I have to protect my side, my interest, my client's interest. So it's like now you're gonna see the ugly side of this, right? So now we're in the last, like, we're about to firm the deal up, and it's again going for more, getting more, taking more from my clients. And I told my clients I'm not going to stand for it. The deal falls through, then it falls through. We'll sell to somebody else. Like I can't. This is we can't succumb to all this, right? It's not in our favor, right? If my fiduciary duties to my clients is to protect their best interest, then they have to understand what I'm trying to say to them, which they are, and they're on board with me. So we're fighting. Well, I showed you the email this morning. I sent back like at 7 a.m. Like, are we kidding?
Well, hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, I think it will. It's just, you know what it is too. You gotta be strong and lose communication. So you leave the ball in their court and actually like, what's he doing? Then they start looking at the commission. 2.5% on $1.3 million. Like that's a huge. Like, what does that work out to?
What's a good paycheck?
It's like 30-something thousand. I would imagine. Like nobody wants to lose that over like a settlement crack that. Like stupidity.
Or their ego. Like they need to turn that down.
I've never received an amendment in my whole career with the home inspection report attached to it. Like as a schedule. Like
that's weird. When you told me that they sent 2 separate documents, or were sending like just the amendment with what they wanted repaired, I said, okay, that's not bad. But when you said like they attached the whole inspection to the thing, like that's weird.
And settlement cracks happen in houses.
Of course.
If the crack is not through the 8 to 10 inch wall, and you don't see light through it, you're okay. It's going to stand. It's a settlement crack. Houses settle. We live in a freeze and thaw cycle type environment where houses shift. Okay. So, but they're like hairline cracks. So either you just rub caulking on with your thumb, or you just parge it with a brush. It's like that's how simple it is, right? You want to get an inspector in, waste my client's money to come review the settlement crack, and to tell them what? To parge it, which their inspector was so brilliant with his report. Why didn't he tell them a remedy to fix that so it doesn't cause
most inspectors do.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's jeopardizing the deal because the buyers really want this house. They love the house. They love the area. And so the inspector and the realtor are now working for their client's best interest because it's a simple fix. They're making such a big deal out of it, and they could potentially lose the house. And I'll tell you why. Because during this process, I went to go meet another family during this period that they're looking to buy the house. I went to their house. I assessed their property, gave them the value of their home. They're happy with the value of their home in today's market. and they're ready to buy this house.
Wow.
This deal falls through, like it's supposed to firm up tomorrow. Like I'm going back to them, they're out, I won't answer any more calls, that's their stupidity, their idiocracy that to lose a deal, and I'm going to sell to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's their agent, and their home inspector that's complicating.
It's the agent.
Yeah.
A lot of times it turns out to being the agent, just to kind of like stick it to the
Would you
other
send
party.
that? Would you send that?
I wouldn't do that. There's no way. You know, even if I was gonna, like, I wouldn't send the home inspection report, number one, because if you even read through them, you're not allowed to send it out, number one. Like from the home inspector's report, you're not allowed to send it out to other agents and stuff like that, because it wasn't conducted for them, the inspection. The other thing also is that I would not do that. I would actually have a call with the agent and just basically say, you know, even going into home inspections with my clients, I already tell them, you know, certain things. Like the house that you're talking about is newer, so we don't have to worry about furnace, windows, and AC and those type of things. But whenever I'm going into a property, I'm looking at those things. Once my clients express interest in that property, I'm looking at those and I'm telling them the dates. Like as much as I possibly can tell them this is good, this is bad, I want them to make an offer based on knowing as much as I can tell them about the condition of the property. And the other thing is that when we go through the inspection, I don't want the inspector coming in there and be like, well, your furnace is 22 years old, it's out of the typical life expectancy and whatever, and they're going to be like, oh, it's $3,500. And it's like, I don't want them to have that surprise, right?
Absolutely.
So number one, I'll check that. And the other thing I'll do is that if something does come up, I'll call the other agent and I'll say, hey, like, look, like, we found all this other stuff which is fine, like a hairline crack, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. It's really nothing, right? But I would say, like, but this is what we need to address, how are we going to work this out? I would try to, like, communicate properly and try to figure out something and then send the amendment so you're not, like...
We're not opposed to it. They sent an email, and I wrote, you know, in, like, spaces between what they sent, and I wrote, we will have this barge and seal prior to closing. We're not opposed to fixing it. Because, you know, it's a big investment. It's paying $1.3 million. I respect that totally, right? But yeah, we'll repair it. We're gonna have an if there was, you know, if you saw the crack through, you know, from the exterior to the interior wall, and it's all the way down to the bottom, and it's moist, it's wet, we're gonna get it injected for you. We're gonna go one step further. We're gonna get a professional in, drill out, inject epoxy into the crack, and seal it. Because that we're gonna deliver a good house. But this is stupidity.
It's overboard.
When I get a report where we gotta unclog a sink with, like, you know, in Drano, and you know, because we're in Nobleton, so there's calcium, a lot of calcium in the water, so you know, the like say the faucet in the actual kitchen, it's a little clogged. It's white vinegar. You soak it in a glass of white vinegar and it's done. But we're gonna fix it for you, you know. And I feel like we're going above and beyond, and now we're being taken advantage of. So now I just shut down all communications, and I saw you the email this morning. We're
you can't deal with that, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, we're all smiles and happy, but when it's business, like, I'll terrorize this person, right? It'll be the end of her. Because honestly, if she lets it, if you know, it's business at the end, right? I'm looking for my client's best interest. If they don't, you know, we'll parge it, we'll complete it. But if they want this, they're so strict on this inspection, let the deal fall through. I'll sell it to somebody else, and then they're out of a house. And then who's going to be at fault?
Yeah. Well, what else?
So my journeys, man. Yeah, everything else is good, man. Everything's flowing.
How's that big listing?
Getting showings like crazy.
That's
Can't
awesome.
believe it. Like 3 to 4 showings a month.
That's wicked, man.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
what was it? 2.6.
2.6. Yeah.
No,
yeah. I'm carrying right now almost, I think, $12 million of real estate.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah. And I think I have another 3 listings coming up. I just actually texting the guy now. So one is going to be in Barrie, Friday Harbor. What was the other one? The one in Toronto. There's one in Jane and Finch, around that area.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listings so quick, man. That's a good little listing.
The one in Blue Mountain coming up too.
Yeah, that one coming up. So I landed a bank, right? So I listed that property. Scarborough already got 2 offers in it.
Awesome.
Hopefully today it's done.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he told me he's got one in Newmarket, one in Stouffville, and one in Blue Mountain.
Beautiful.
Please, like, send them.
Yeah.
You know, listing presentation over a phone is great, right?
Yeah. No, that's
more
amazing.
email.
Free, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I gotta perform first.
Yeah.
How about yourself? How's
Yeah, it's good. So the year for me started off to be, like, very hectic and everything else like that. Over the last, like, I would say week or so, it's not been anything too crazy. We had the one listing go up last week for a townhouse here in Pickering. We listed at $550.
Yeah.
You know, same kind of thing, ego with the agent. There was an agent that made an offer on the property, and then just really ego-driven. Basically sent me a sign back, so we sent it to him at night, and then he sent us a sign back like around 12 o'clock, and I told him I need until 6 p.m. because I'm busy that day, right? So I need at least until 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, like, I was doing my showings, but I was messaging back and forth, and like, so I've tried to change my stuff a little bit. Like, my sellers were okay with me quoting 2 numbers, because we had a little issue come up or whatever, so it was either you want it this way or that way, and quote them the two numbers. So I'm in a way, I put it in a text message, and I basically said, this is what it is. As per my sellers, this is what it is, and this is the bottom line of what we can do for you. And then he comes back with their bottom line and says, okay, we'll do it, but $1,000 less.
Yeah, and now so he's going to get killed right now because he probably sold it for more.
Yeah, exactly.
And now basically the buyer's agent was basically misrepresented his clients. He probably wanted the house. He could have got it for a better deal. Now you're going to sell it for more because of ego driven. And you said that so the guy's an experienced agent.
Experienced agent. It looks like he's in there for 20 years. Like he even looked at the previous listing from when my sellers bought it, and he was telling me about the listing agents because they double ended it. About some of the stuff about the agents and stuff like that, right? So it's like he knows that this other person was in their office like 20 years ago. So he has experience. He's not a newbie in the business. So I just don't know why they would behave that way over $1,000. Like to prove a point to their client, they just lost a great deal for their client. Like.
Oh, it's like a hitchhiker. He's got to hitchhike to the next town because this bus has left.
You know what? The other thing is that just within that area, I had and I talked about this before too. Like I had another townhouse over there. The last two sales were like 500 and 505, and then I listed this one for 565 and sold it for 557. So I was naturally worried about the appraisal of this property when it went through and whatever else like that, but it firmed up and went through. So this experienced agent that was making this offer kept hammering at me, well, we don't have a condition on financing, we're buying for cash, the appraisal will never come through. Not until now, but like until that day, he was sending me messages like, it won't appraise, won't appraise, won't appraise. I'm like, dude, like, you just saw what I did over here, like in front of you. Like the house is here and the other three houses are here. It's right in front of you what I did.
I think it's at times it's best to lose communication.
Yeah.
Because you know what, and don't respond to them, and they're just look. The agent's called me.
And you already told them I'm not
the
available.
husband called me.
Yeah.
And I mailed it like I won't be available by phone all day today.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna lose communication. Balls in their court, and they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, they have to do that. But yeah, so like they have to act right. Yeah, they have to act right.
Put people into place.
Yeah.
It's funny because now it's even looking at the migration of realtors right now, you're starting to see a lot of agents like migrate to different brokerages or.
That's a sign. That's a tattletale sign to me, anyways. When you start flipping and flopping brokerages and stuff like that, that's
scary times.
That's a tattletale sign.
Yeah. You're going to see that probably by June, July, like just a big wave of agents moving from like, let's say like a powerful brand like we're in now, REMAX,
and they're not going to want to pay,
and then going to like something second, third class, right? So nothing wrong with that. Just the production's not there, right?
But even there's a bunch of people that I know, and you may as well, but like they just go out and do their own independent. Brokerage, right? Yeah. So, so I don't know how that's going to work out, but
God willing, like I'm pro business, right? If it turns into something great, God bless, right? Because if there's like Sam McGaddy went off for REMAX, I think they I don't know what they happened with him.
But you know what? Like I like the idea of it. Like I'm always like you, pro business, and I'm looking to see how I can benefit from running my business, right? So the thing is that I'm good with it, but I feel like when you do something like this, your production level has to be at a certain point for you to be able to do it. And the thing is that, and with all honesty, it's like if you're working on a brand like REMAX right now, and that's the intention that you have a lot of infrastructure to set up the way that you need to be. Do you know what I mean? You have a lot of infrastructure already. So someone like me will probably end up doing something like this, right? So the thing is that I will set up the entire infrastructure, have a huge amount of transactions, and all you will see is a name change, but everything else will remain.
1,000%. Yeah. It's like an incubator effect. Like REMAX is you're going to incubate in here, and then ultimately you're going to build
exactly
buyers, sellers, agents. The whole team is here.
I couldn't have described it in a better way.
Basically, you pick it up and you just drop it into another incubation system. But ultimately, so if you have a whole team in place, the business is still rolling. You can be in the back end and organize in the new.
But you need to
structure, right?
Like for me, the way it is that you have to be that person to be able to orchestrate it. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is that you got to move on.
You got to watch too, because there's a lot of ego too. With I know there was a case. Maybe we shouldn't even talk about it. But anyways, there's people migrating, right? It's just. God bless, pro business. I wish all the best. I hope it works out, right?
Yeah.
And some people it does. Like, and McDaddy's good. There's another agent in our community that has a branch, their own brand, which does well. It's good.
Yeah, like I know a couple of other ones that have been very, very successful too.
Yeah.
But it's always a
But
challenge.
it's the names.
Yeah,
Well, I think Monica went off on her own too, right? Or a chick from Toronto, Tapper.
I don't know.
Yeah, she went off on her own.
Yeah.
She's got her own branch. She's not in the REMAX anymore.
But even, there's a bunch of them out there. But you hear about the successes. You don't really hear about the.
But they incubated it first.
Yeah.
They had it under a big organization where the front end is there, the back end is there, everything is there. Basically what we're doing is sort of like learning about how to run a brokerage, right? Because sub branches, we're still under the big branch, but we're sub branch, so trust accounts, everything. Basically, we have a really good idea of how everything works. So if we had to literally migrate it into our own thing, it's very easy.
It's easy.
It's literally like.
See that's easy, but like I'm so about like having the volume of sales to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
$1 million plus commissions a year.
There you go.
I would say
if you're doing, I would say like I don't even think personally like 50 transactions is enough to do it.
No,
I think if you're cranking up 80 to 100 is the right number.
Yeah,
if you're at like
you're sustainable.
If you're crossing that 100 mark,
consistently yearly.
2-3 years you cross the 100 mark. I think then if you want to go that route,
you got the power to do it.
Yeah,
rebrand everything, keeps similar colors and whatnot, right?
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, fair enough, man. So what else is going on?
That's it. I wanted to talk a little bit about rental items.
Fair enough.
Rental items with properties. I have a huge problem with it actually, and I've always had a problem with rental hot water tanks. Rental hot water tanks I've always had an issue with because I think they're just the stupidest thing ever. You buy a new house, they're going to give you windows, they're going to give you a roof, they're going to give you a freaking furnace. Do you know what I mean? But they will make you rent the hot water tank. Like, I find that to be the most dumbest thing ever. How much is a hot water tank? Like, don't give me a fancy ass one. Give me something mid-range. How much is a hot water tank?
Like $1,200 to $1,500.
Okay, so $1,200 to $1,500. How much is a furnace?
A furnace is now about $3,000 to $4,000.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they're going to give you the furnace, but you're going to rent the hot water tank. Like, it's the dumbest shit ever.
The builder looks at it. They're building 1,000 houses a year. Yeah. They don't got to put 1,000 water tanks in.
Charge me $1,000. Charge me the $1,500. Give me the option of doing it.
But all these like Alliance and all these places, they go into these builders and say, hey, listen, this is the contract. We'll give you a kickback, and then ultimately we'll do business. So they're like, we don't got to install it. We don't got to pay labor to install it. We don't got to warranty it. And we don't got to provide the pocket. And we're going to get a kickback.
Yeah.
What a deal. They might even start renting out furnaces going forward.
Look, I've seen some projects that have rented out AC, furnace, and the hot water tank. Yeah.
So the house I purchased in Nobleton, so it's a tankless water heat. That thing's $45 a month.
That's cheap, bro. We have some regular tanks over here for like 50 and change.
50?
Yeah, 50. 50.
So I don't know what I have to buy out like this thing. I think it's like some stupid
it's gonna be
crazy like $3,000 to $4,000.
Oh, you'd be lucky. You'd be lucky, man.
I know a neighbor of mine. He's a contractor, so that's the first thing he did when he finished his basement. He removed his tankless water heater.
Yeah.
And he just put like a big big massive tank in there, right?
Yeah.
Get some cheap. So he literally called and says, okay, I'm done with your service. Here's your tank. He even dropped it off for them. They charged him like $2,000 to $3,000 or something.
They don't want it back. Yeah, they don't want it back.
No.
Yeah.
So how long does that contract? Like how long does it last?
So it's a good question. So some of them are 5 years, which is rare. I've seen mostly 10 years and 15-year contracts. Wow. 10 to 15-year contracts. So there's a deal we were working on. Okay, there was a deal that we were working on. And it was like my error on my side over here that we kind of didn't remember to put it into the listing that we had this water filtration system in it, and it was like $63 a month.
63
water filtration. Never mind that. The hot water tank also is like $52 a month.
Wow.
Okay, so it's $52 a month for the hot water tank, and then now they have a $63. $100, $10, $120 a month on just these rental items. So we forgot to mention it or whatever in the listing. I caught it on the sign back or whatever, and then I asked the seller. I said, like, what happened over here? So when they purchased the property, the previous owner had this water filtration thing installed. Signed a 10-year contract. Signed a 10-year contract at $63 a month. They assumed it. Right now there's 6 years left on this thing.
What does that work out to? 63 times.
Yeah.
What does that work? 63 times 12 times 10.
Yeah.
Wow, 6 times 10. $7,560.
Yeah.
How much is that thing if you had to buy it right out? $3,000?
Yeah, $3,000.
Wow.
We should be doing
that
long
business.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. But put it this way. So the thing is that right now, so I got a buyout statement on it right now. I have a buyout statement. It's $5,500 in buyout right now with tax.
What's left of the contract? 5 years?
6 years. Yeah. So it's $5,500 to buy out. There's like one admin fee for $100. There's another one for $275, and it's your unit. Like you got to buy it out. And they're like, fine. You know what? We have the damn unit. We're just gonna take it to our new house. They won't let you move it.
What?
Yeah, they won't even let you move it.
Come on. Why?
I don't know, man. This is bullshit.
How would they know though?
I think there's a lien against the property for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so this company randomly came in and sold this?
So the company was I forgot the name of the company. Yeah, I think it was like one of those door-to-door salespeople or something else like that. Yeah.
You know what's a big scam too? That solar power system, and I don't see them as much as before, but they were making headwind at one point. I remember I got a call from a client, and so mind you, I was going to buy a rental property for a client. We're in Allison, we're putting an offer in, and the solar power. I'm like, I don't know if it's owned or rented. We get the contract for the lease on that solar panel.
Yeah.
Wow, who would sign that? And the return was like $100 per month.
Yeah, nothing.
Or a year. It was something ridiculous. They gave you $2,500 up front, cash bonus, and it was like $12 or $15 a month back. So going back, so that contract there, that roof, basically you can't, by law, you can't be within 3 feet of it. Like on the roof, you're putting your Christmas light, you can't be, legally can't be 3 feet away from it. If you got to change the roof, they'll remove it once. If you got to remove it again, if something happens, then it's all on you. And it's 20-year contract, dude. Yeah. Like you don't own a piece of the house, you worked your ass off. Yeah. Put money in, you want to sell it one day in cash, I'll give it to your kids or whatever. Like that roof doesn't belong to you anymore. Yeah, so I had a deal like that a few years ago, and he had the solar panels installed on it or whatever, and it was the same thing. I think it was like a 20-year deal. And the thing is that they would give him a small amount of money, but all the money, or they would end up owning the panels or whatever. Yeah. Maybe it was like 10, 20 years. I don't know what exactly it was, but all the money that they were going to get back from putting the power back into the grid, they were collecting all the money. They sell it. Yeah. So the cost of those panels versus what they were getting back it didn't make sense. Like you were better off if you liked it to go and buy the panel yourself and do it. Just like these stupid filtrations and hot water tanks and stuff like that. I think my recommendation to people is that if they're going to go, and what I'm doing right now, I don't care. And when we're listing a property, I'm going to be very upfront with them and disclose this is the company that the rental item is from. This is the amount it is, and I'll give them all the information all at the same time because I think this will become an issue at some point. Because these things are escalating so much. I'm telling you, man, the hot water tank in this place is $52. That's insane. $52. That's one thing. How about now? So let's say a lot of people are more house rich and cash poor in a sense, right? Now your furnace goes, furnace and AC. $6,000 or $7,000 right there. A lot of people are literally financing into like Reliance or whatever those companies are. And you have a list, and those are one of our top questions. The property tax, what else, other items are rented. So alarm, this and that. Oh, and this forgot to tell you. It's a good line. I forgot to tell you. The furnace and air conditioning is rented. Now you're starting to sweat. You're thinking of this contract, and you see it. It's built up so badly, right? And it's not obviously in favor of the company providing the equipment. No. And then the cost per month is insane, $150 to $170, and it's like 10 or 15-year contract. So now try to get somebody to agree to that, like a buyer. They're screw that shit. I'm already paying X for the mortgage. I can't afford to have most times $170 per month. A lot of times they're not going to agree to it. You will find some people that will agree to it, but most times they won't. And I think that you just have to be prepared to buy out that. 100%. So if you made that decision, or if you ended up purchasing resale and you assumed that contract, you know what? I think you have to be prepared to buy it out. 1,000%. So we're asking for buyout statements. When we're doing things like that, we're asking for buyout. And this is the conversation we had with your client and mutual working on a project there in Angus. And same thing. That was a filtration system too, wasn't it? Yeah. And they had to buy it. I'm lucky it wasn't that bad of a buyout. It wasn't too bad. It was like $3K or something. $3K. Yeah. So I hate it. I absolutely hate water tanks, hot water tanks. If I ever purchase another house again from a builder, I probably will. And I'm just going to have that thing crossed right out and say, I don't want your hot water tank, and I'll opt to pay $1,500 or I'll supply, and I'll take the responsibility for it. I don't want it. It doesn't make sense, man. Even the one at my house right now is $60 or something. 60? Dude, they're going to gouge you. They don't care. And when you go to closing at the lawyer, the instructions are that you got to give them a check. So they start just withdrawing that shit out of your bank account already. You have no choice. It's smart. Well, look even in my area now. So it's just another scam too, because all of Nobleton gave a contract to Rogers rather than Bell. So Rogers had the opportunity to
kind of run their fiber optics and stuff.
Yeah. So while the ground was open and they're under construction, they ran all their pipes. And that was so basically what happens is Roger gets all the contracts there, and they give the kick back to the builder.
Yeah.
So they don't allow any other, like it's a monopoly. It should not be allowed.
Yeah.
So like the other, like say Bell, we only have like I think one other, was it Bell and Conjugal or whatever?
Yeah.
We didn't even have
really
it's just Bell and Rogers. Yeah. So now that the property's been assumed by the city, and now the builder doesn't assume it anymore, now they can come in. So now like Bell's ripping up like lawns, and now I have. My driveway's all out of pen and concrete. There's so much work, landscaping, irrigation. There's, trees, stones, rocks. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't want your fucking wire near my house.
Yeah.
Like, you better torpedo that shit like 3 feet underneath that concrete, because if that drive, it's $60,000 driveway. That thing cracks. Like,
you know what? But they have an easement. They have an easement to come on the property.
It's their property. Yeah. But it's kind of shitty for us to have to go through that, and and the builder gets off the hook. He's arm's length now, right? It's just
but you know what, Steve? Like, this is something that people are going to have to start speaking out against the builders. You know what I mean? And I feel
that should be a government. That should be more.
But the thing is that it's the people that need to force this thing first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But the thing is that I feel right now, in the situation that builders are in right now, I think that people can have a bigger voice, because these guys still want to turn their units. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And if somebody causes some stink about this right now and gets some high level attention on it, I think they're going to have to be able to adjust a little bit. Like, I mean, the hot water tanks, running these lines and stuff like that, I think it's all, like, I feel like I said, I'd rather pay a little bit more money for it and let me be in control of what's going on.
Yeah.
Even like, this is a slightly off topic, but like cookie cutter homes being built, right? Guess what's going to happen in a year and a half or a year? Everyone's going to get together and say, well, we want fencing. And then you have some jackass on one end of it that is just like, nope, I don't need a fence. Dude, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Like, when I moved to my new house, like, luckily, either side were good, and the guy behind me, like, I had to go to his house like 3 or 4 times, and yeah, I paid cash for the goddamn fence, and I was like telling this guy, like, look, man, are you gonna pay me for the fence, or half of it, or not? Like, if you're not, then I'll get a receipt for it and go to the city. Like, I don't want to be an asshole about it, but like, I mean, like, dude, fair is fair. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and build a fence for you, and then you're gonna get to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
It's just stupidity.
I think builders should just charge you the fucking money up front, man. They should just be like, hey, they charge you a landscaping fee or a tree planting fee or whatever else. Just charge me a fencing fee. Charge me the goddamn fencing fee.
It's true.
Yeah, make some money on it. They're always looking to make money on
Absolutely.
something. The fence costs $3,000. Okay, the fence costs. Charge me for it.
And put the fence in before the grass. And screw up the grass.
Yeah, just charge me $4,000, dude. Charge me $4,000. Make your percentage off of it and just build it.
That's the weirdest thing ever. I don't know why that's. Again, these are things that need to be controlled by let's say just. Even the Competition Bureau, going back to Bell and Rogers, why wouldn't the Competition Bureau look at that and say that's non-competitive? Why do these people that live in this particular pocket only have one choice of cable service?
Yeah.
Like, no, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy, right?
It is. But like, you know what? It should go to a way of basically saying the onus should be put on the builder to run these things, and they should be universal. Like, I think all of this stuff is running through the same wires anyway. So whatever service provider you choose, they can hook up to that. You know what I mean? That should be the responsibility of the builder. The onus on the builder to run all the wiring and everything else like that. And it's your choice who you want to go with.
1,000%. Yeah. But look now how Rogers goes about this. So we had the original Rogers that was like 15 years old. Like, it's been around forever. The same crappy converter that's just outdated. The system that was just terribly run. So now Bell gets rights to the area because now the subdivision got assumed by the city. The builder's got no hold on it anymore. They just, before Bell gets to the area, they give us Rogers Ignite. Now it's a whole wireless system. It's a replicated version of the Bell 5 that's been out for the last 3 to 5 years. And so it's just like crazy. It's a monopoly, I despise that. It's almost like how the Trudeau government just announced all these incentives and
for the election.
Just before election, as they always predict, just to kind of bring up the morale.
So we've been saying for a while.
It's up to them, man. Why do people think we're dumb as a civilization, as a people? People really think we're dumb.
Yeah.
Like these
it's that fluoride in the water you told me about.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that
gotta
fluoride.
watch that fluoride, bro.
Yeah.
You
Need that reverse osmosis system.
You gotta reverse osmosis it. The whole house is our own, man.
Yeah. Stop that fluoride shit. Don't drink the public water, guys. There's stuff in the water.
Yeah. Mentally, you see it too, right? You'll see like. Think of your dreams vividly. When's the last time you had like a crazy vivid dream? Like just natural if you didn't drink alcohol or smoke weed. You're like, I get that every night. But I'm saying on its own, right? Like it's very slim. And sometimes, and you remember, wow, I saw like an amazing vivid dream last night. It's almost like one of those freaky sci-fi movies where nobody dreams anymore. And that's exactly what we're happening. Because dreaming is numb mind. Go to work. Pay your bills, pay interest. It's just crazy.
You're locked into a system. What was that Grant Cardone video we were watching too? Remember, you actually introduced it to me on London Real, was it?
Yes.
Where he talks about like they need to lend out money.
Yeah.
They need to lend out money, so they invented the American dream, home ownership. Because they need to lend out money, so they build up these houses and say you need to buy it. This is American dream. You're gonna own this thing. And they lend you a couple $100,000 and you keep paying them so they make the money.
Well, think about it, because first builders were banks.
Yeah.
Coldwell Banker, which is a real estate company now that sells real estate. But that was an actual bank that was building houses and selling them.
Yeah.
So it was a whole thing.
So they had to build a product
in order to leverage it.
To lend the money.
To lend the money,
to make the money on compound interest.
Yeah.
You know, there was that one little property I was just showing you about, and I was just thinking, I have no idea how to do a comp for this property, and I'm not going to. If I end up acting like doing it, I'm going to get someone else to act on it. Which is it? Sorry, the little cottage thing I just showed you. Okay, so like I checked land registry. They paid like $94K for it. They're listed at $305 right now, and it's like. How like
is it by the water?
Yeah, it is. It's off a lake.
You want to buy for personal.
Yeah. So it's off of like a lake, a small lake or whatever. But like basically, I was just like, okay, so compound interest. How does this work? So basically, even at like 5%, man. So the guy's owned it for 25 years, paid $94,000 for it, and at 5% compound interest, it comes to the list price that he has.
Come on.
Yeah, man, it comes to the list price he has. But think about this. Like even if you were at 7.5 or 10%, I think when I did 10%, it was almost double of what he listed at.
Really?
Yeah, man. So lending money
is a shit, right?
Yeah. So this whole thing is fake, man.
Think about it; it's incredible.
And we bought into it, you know.
And we don't know any better.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to
like I don't think I agree 100% with Grant Cardone. He basically says like he doesn't own his own home, and you shouldn't either, and it's a selfish thing to do. I can see the point in it, but I'm not sure if I buy into it just yet. And he said it's selfish. I'm pretty sure he kind of said it was selfish. Those were his words. It's selfish to own the house. Because think about it. If you have, for example, like $400,000 equity in this property, right? You own this property. You pay the property taxes, mortgage, and everything else like that on it. You have $400K in it. Think about just selling it and say you net the $400K off that property. Take $200K here, buy this. Take $200K, buy this. Buy 2 investment properties. Let the rents come in on those, and you just go and rent yourself. Yeah, isn't that a smarter thing to do? And I think that's why he says, like, if you're trying to get to your goal in financial stability or wealth, he's like, it's selfish if you own your own home.
1,000%. But look at civilization. The more money you make, the more you want to spend. So you make X, let's say, even for us, we make, pretty substantial amount of money, but so it's like, I could have stayed in my house in Bolton.
Sure you could.
Could have paid that thing right off. It was like, the mortgage very low. But no, I feel entitlement and I want to get into a larger home because I deserve it. Because I work hard and this is who I am.
Yeah.
But that's just a mindset, right? And
we bought into
it. We're brainwashed.
Yeah, we bought into it. So the other thing also is that look at that thing we were at where that guy from TD was presenting or whatever, and they started talking about household debt. One of the things he said, like, household debt has actually gone up, and the use of that is to maintain lifestyle.
Yes.
Maintain lifestyle? You're borrowing money to maintain lifestyle. And yeah, you're right. He said it's the highest in 10 years to service debt right now. My gosh. Yeah. So it's the highest cost to service debt in 10 years right now, and you're borrowing, not you, but like people are borrowing money mostly to maintain lifestyle.
1,000%. That's
scary.
Yeah. It's all around us, buddy. Look at the cars. When's the last time you've seen a rusted car on the road? Like something of use. We are different because it's more of like a business right now.
Yeah.
We want to tell ourselves that anyway. But
I mean, like we're not innocent in all this.
No,
based on the information that we know, like of course there's better decisions that we could be making. But then I think you also prioritize what's important.
I feel like there's people that are here and I just want to be like just below them.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm still spending money. Like I want to buy a Porsche.
Yeah.
It has to come. Like that's like my dream. It's like I'm not gonna buy it so I can be cool, show up at a restaurant, and like you know, it's to drive it on a Sunday morning by myself with no radio on. Like I'll literally just remove speakers and radio, take out the air conditioning, take out the heat, like even take out all the carpet. I just want to like drive. That's like that's my. So that's me, but that's a passion, right? But there's a lot of people out there just doing it for the show, and that's where I don't want to be. I want to keep grounded. Luckily, I got a great woman, a great wife, and she definitely like really like labels me, right?
Yeah.
She just grounds me.
Yeah.
Because every time we want to make a move, and it's just like you know being selfish, where it's like yeah we deserve this, we got to get this, and then it always backfires where it's just like it doesn't even make sense. Like just stay in your lane, bro.
Just stay in your lane. So good.
Well, you know what it is. It's ultimately you know. For me, it's get these kids educated the best way I can, get them the best morals I can, try to get them to fly out of the coop when it's time, and be you know good human beings, be helpful, be motivated, be passionate, whatever they do, and then live like a decent life. Like my goal is to move onto the 15th side road, just one block off, buy 10 acres, and be off the grid, literally, like solar power, well, have livestock, like the whole thing. Like I want to be off the grid.
Wow, man. That's
no social media, like nothing. Like
me going off the grid is buying a condo unit. I'm not
buying a condo?
Yeah, buying a condo.
You're buying a cottage?
Yeah. But hey, I'm not gonna go live there every day, dude.
But imagine your compound. You got your cars there. It's like a compound. You can, have like a shooting range, the whole thing,
That's
right?
true. That's
like
true.
I'm talking like a whole compound,
Yeah.
go-kart track, like a
go-kart track. Yeah, see now
right?
that's
A
enticing.
few dirt bikes,
Yeah, that's
a few
enticing.
horses, like have a few horses.
Yeah.
Go trot in the morning.
Sounds like entitlement again.
Wait, we got a dream too, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, at the end, as long as it's all paid cash, who cares?
Yeah, it's all good. We gotta live. Cool. Good?
Close it down, yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, this was East Meets West. We got a bunch of topics here.
Yes.
If you guys want to hear us talk about anything, have any questions, shoot it over to us.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Have a great day. Subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, if you got ask any questions, direct message myself or Hussein, and we'd be happy and glad to answer any of your questions. Have an amazing day, guys.
Take care, guys.
Ciao.